Got still 13 with Alan Kilshaw, head of Hunslet on Sunday. First off though, a good win last week against Doncaster. Just wondered what you made of the performance.
Yeah, like I said on the day, we were very pleased and on review. There's some things that we did exceptionally well. Thought we defended very well for large periods against a good side. Their result last night reflected that they went to York and scored 36 points. So to keep them just to 22 and 3 of those were a result from kicks just shows how good we defended on the day. And there's areas there that we can still improve, and that's been a focus this week, leading into the Hunslet game. But there's some good performances, some good individual performances, and the lads that came back gave us a real boost, which we hope they would, and they'll be better for the run out, and hopefully we can be even better this week.
And you mentioned that you don't really want to change the team much this week. Sort of, are you looking to get some consistency as we get to the business end of the playoffs?
Yeah, definitely. Each week we've sort of our hands been forced. This season just with injuries, suspensions. More injuries and suspensions. So, we want to keep the team as settled as we can at the minute, and there's not much reason to change it. There'll probably just be 2 changes this week. One enforced. Ben Moores is 50-50 at this stage with that rib injury, so we don't really want to risk that. But he'll have a fitness test tomorrow, and we'll go from there. And Dale Bloomfield will come back into the 17.
And obviously, it's a tricky one. We don't know where we're going to be next week, if we're going to play at all, or if we're going to be in France. There are a lot of different outcomes. What's going to be sort of the approach going into the game?
Yeah, look, obviously there's a game Saturday night, in France, which can have bearing on our game. We just focused on this 80 minutes and looking to win and play well. Whether that takes us to a final next week or whether that takes us to a playoff in 2 weeks, we want that momentum going into it. We put some things in place provisionally, in terms of travel and a plan for scenario A, scenario B, but it'd be very easy for the team to get distracted and lose the focus this week with what's going on off the field and different permutations. So what we're looking at doing is just focusing on this 80 minutes. We want another good performance. It's our last regular season game at home, and we want to put a big performance in, and hopefully a big crowd to come out. I think the lads deserve a big crowd on the weekend. Hunslet will travel well, and hopefully the Rochdale people will get out and support the lads and give them the support they deserve for their performances this season.
And just on to Hunslet, they pushed Toulouse really close last week for about 78-79 minutes. Obviously, with that in mind, sort of what's the preparation been like this week? They're a good side, obviously.
Yeah. Look, they are a good side, and probably just a little bit inconsistent. When we played in round 1, it was a real tough game, and it could have gone either way. We just second half we had a real good purple patch just after half time, and we kicked on and came back from behind, and I thought that this year they'd been in and around having been relegated, and they probably picked up some disappointing results along the way, and a team that can go to York and win, a team that can go to Keighley and win, and as you said last week, they performed very well, and it was tough conditions, and watched the game. I think the completions were really high. I think they would be around the 80 mark.
88% I saw online this morning.
Yeah, so it just shows you how well they played in them conditions and defended well. And they've got some good players that they've added players since we played them last. In the outside back, centre there and a winger, and then they've got the lad Coventry from Featherstone in the front row is very good, and Reed, the other front rower, complements each other, and they've got 2 good 9s in Lee and Flanagan, and then you've got Norman on the edge and some good outside backs, Watson the full back. So they're a good team, they're a well balanced team, and I think a lot of them are re-signing for next year. So.
And just on to you, you've been nominated for the Kingston Press League One Coach of the Year alongside Paul Crary and Sylvan Hughes of Toulouse. How good does that feel, given the resources you had available to you at the start of the year? Obviously the other two have got they had a bigger budget and things at the start of the year, so to turn out the season that we've had and sort of pick up that accolade, how good does that feel?
Yeah, you know, it's human nature to to be recognised personally is always good, and it's been great to get the nomination, and I feel the nomination not just for me, it's for the team, and I've got some really hard working assistant coaches and strength and conditioner and physio and analysis, people who help out on match day with the rehab and the massage. So it's a nomination for that team, as much as it is for me. And like you say, we've had I think with the ninth smallest spenders in the competition this year, and we've never fought like that. We've just gone week in, week out, and I think we've got sometimes a bit of bad publicity about the dual registration, and we've hardly used players this season, and when you've got a small budget that we have, then we sometimes have to rely on that just to boost our squad numbers. If we had 1,000 people watching and a massive budget, I'm sure we wouldn't have to use dual reg. So we have copped a little bit there, but I feel that we played a good brand of rugby this year, and we really have challenged the big boys, and shows you don't need a huge high performance budget to have a high performance team, and I think that's what we've had this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of high performance teams, high performance players, Danny Yates has also been nominated for the Young Player of the Year. How good is it to have Danny sort of in and around the camp? He's only, obviously, I think we forget sometimes how young he is, and he's put out some really mature performances this year. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's been one of the biggest improvers. I saw a lot in him last year when I reviewed the games back, and we worked with him pre-season, and since the games have come on, and really proud of him, really proud of how he's gone this year. He's that combination on that left edge with Jono has developed, and Trig, and I'm sure it'll develop even further with all those players staying next season, and hopefully he'll take out the award, but if not, it's great for him to get nominated, and I think he's been one of the best halves in the league this season.